I am a hoe for houses. I will sell a house to like 100,000 air or like
200,000
a 200,000 air. I do not care. Hi, I'm Brittany Picolo-Ramos.
And I'm Joel Piccolo.
I'm Derek, not Piccolo.
Pittmon, actually, if you were
Pittmon.
curious. And welcome to the Real-Tea. All the real things going on in life right now with real estate, all the real estate drama, with filming, Selling the Big Easy, which was a reality show on HGTV.
We're going to be talking about stuff that you don't really hear a lot from other real estate professionals. Like you don't hear about the day in and day out stuff, like when an inspector is going to knock out somebody, stuff like that. Oop, spoiler alert. Anyway.
Yeah.
What about
Also crying in your car while eating Taco Bell on a Tuesday after, we'll get more into that a little bit later.
I told you that.
It was,
and you just tell everybody.
Yeah, I didn't name any names.
I'm like, were you in my car yesterday? So we just have a lot going on right now in the world, in life. And, sometimes you feel like you're crazy. You're like, is this only happening to me? The answer is no. We're all going through it right now. And I don't know if you've been to the grocery store lately. There's drama even in the grocery store, which used to be just a place of rest for me. I used to go grocery shopping and just spend hours and just putting stuff in my cart at Target. Now I'm like, how much is this?
I mean, I still like to act like I'm inspecting the fruit and like I know what I'm doing, but then I just put it back down.
I can't afford the fruit, but I do the same thing. I just stare at it and I go, wow, could you imagine? I think it also really, it impresses a lot of people because they're like, I think he's going to buy that watermelon. I'm like, I'm not buying it.
You're really good when you put two in both hands and you're like,
yeah.
Or they just think you're a weirdo who has some affection with some fruit.
That could be the case
He's
as
like
well.
rubbing the lemons.
Yeah, maybe that was creeped out, not impressed face I saw.
So I guess we could start off with just talking about what was it like filming a reality show versus our life now. I mean, we were obviously filming for a couple of years, and people ask me all the time, how did you get the show? So I can say how I got the show, but how would you say that we got the show, Derek?
By golly, we had a listing down in the was it the Bywater? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a listing down in the Bywater, and they reached out to you, and then
I'll tell you.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say I just showed up one day, and so
I wonder how long until Brittany was gonna be like, let me tell it.
Yeah.
So what had happened was I got a call from a friend who had a staging company, and she said they're doing a reality show based on, or a pilot, and they're doing a pilot based on, what it's like, before and after and filming staging houses, and can I use one of your properties? I said, yeah, no problem. I called the seller, told her what was happening, and asked if we could have permission to film there. And she goes, well, I want you to be there. I was like, I don't want to go. And literally she fought with me and was like, no, you need to be there. So I ended up going. And there was part of me that was, because I used to tell my mom when I was little that I was going to have my own show. And she was like, well, honey, you're going to have to lose about 50 pounds if you want to do that. Not even joking.
Yeah, that's Bonnie for you.
That's Bonnie. She's a wildcat. But I'm like, anytime people say something mean to me, I'm like, you haven't said anything I haven't heard from my mom. Yeah. So thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
You really set me up for success. So she, I went to the property and I was, joking with the girl, and she's like, you're so funny. I said, yeah, I should have my own show. And she's like, you should. And then we started talking, and it was so funny because I ended up coming home that day, and my husband always makes fun of me because he's like, I came home and was like, I'm going to have a show like the Kardashians. And he was like, do you want to get divorced? And I was like,
yeah, she's being modest. She did say that.
Honestly, I never watched HGTV. I was more of a Bravo girl. I like the tea, okay? I like the juice. And so for me, it wasn't a network that I was thinking of being on, especially since I'm so myself. And I just say really off the wall things, which I had to get edited a lot. People are like, there's no way you're that crazy. I'm like, oh, you only saw like a fraction of my crazy. And you're laughing because but what happens with a pilot is they get a concept and then they start shooting, and then they do a pilot and they pitch it to a bunch of different networks, or the concept to a bunch of different networks. And then somebody who says, yeah, that sounds good. Then they go into pre-pilot and then a pilot. So that's how reality TV works.
Yeah.
And I think it's only 1% of pilots ever see the light of day, and then even smaller percentage actually get picked up for a season. So the fact that we got picked up for 2 seasons was a miracle, and probably would have been more, but I couldn't keep my mouth shut about politics.
Hey, we ain't gonna control you. Don't change yourself.
I know.
No.
So, it was a wild, and it was all during COVID too. That's what was so nuts. It's like, I feel like if we would have got a fair shot, like during a time of like not COVID, maybe it would have been a little bit different. But, I was competing against Tiger King. How can you win against that?
I mean, well, good news is that one of the guys is in jail now from Tiger King.
Really?
So, but we're not in jail. So winning. Positive.
I think, I did.
There's still time.
It did catch me off guard, though, how long it did take for the time. Like, you met these people at the property. You came home, told us, hey, we're all going to throw, like, champagne on one another, like a Bravo series. And we were like, maybe not. And then from there, it went to, like, Zoom meetings, then a sizzle reel, followed by a half a pilot or a pre-pilot, followed by, okay, now they're going to come back and do the other half of the pilot, followed by stop calling this number, Derek, who gave this to you. And then after that, it became, hey, I think we actually might get aired on TV. And they aired it like in the middle of the day, like on a Saturday in July or something. Like, it was an obscure, like, well, we're really set up for success here.
Yeah.
They gave us like the worst time slot. They're like, this girl has like 12 followers on Instagram. Okay, so I didn't have an Instagram following because I didn't understand how social media worked. So people would like try to follow me and I'd like block them and deny them for like years. So I didn't quite understand how that worked. Whoops.
No, that checks out. That checks out. Why? Yeah, no. When people ask to follow me, like on LinkedIn, I'm like, why? Where do you?
Yeah, like, what do you want from me? So the sizzle reel is interesting because they get to like know all the characters and put together the storyline, and then see if that's even something they're interested in. And then when they do the pre-pilot, I mean, like there was a lady who was helping us. She literally fell off the ladder.
I remember that. I remember that.
I kept telling her, I was like, you can't paint like that. She was precious. She was Brazilian. She was very saucy. I loved her. Obviously, we got each other, same energy. But she is like leaning over the thing and like trying to paint. And I kept telling her, I was like, don't lean like that. You're going to fall. And all of a sudden we hear, like all this huge thing. And she literally had fell probably like 10 to 12 feet.
I mean, she was way up there. Yeah,
she was tiny. She gets up, she's like, I'm okay. And she's like bleeding. I'm like, oh God.
I must have like blocked that out.
You did. You blocked a lot
I must have. Because I don't remember the Brazilian lady falling.
Like your childhood.
Yeah. Wow. In today's segment, we're talking about my childhood.
Well, what was your favorite parts of the show and filming the show?
My favorite part of the show? I mean, oof. I enjoyed the camaraderie while we were on set. I think that was probably the most fun. I think just being able to hang out and then us just be us, I think that was probably the most fun. Now, once it got to the editing floor at HGTV, that was a whole other animal.
Literally, you saw like this much. Like all the funny stuff was taken out.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd leave like a tiny bit of mom humor here and there, but like literally all the good stuff, all the juicy stuff, I think was taken out. My clients were like, it was way funnier when we were there. So, I mean, I'm curious to know like why they edited it the way they did.
Yeah.
But we obviously were a newer show too, so we didn't have like the biggest budget and stuff, but it was edited in Australia. So I don't know if Australian humor is different from American humor.
It's completely reversed in Australia, the humor.
Because it's the southern hemisphere. Yeah. It goes the opposite way.
Yeah. Toilets go the opposite way. Everything goes the opposite way.
The humor goes the opposite way.
Crocodiles
Crocodiles
different.
Huge down there.
Huge.
That's probably we should have had more crocodiles in our show.
Good day, mate.
Yeah. Alligators. People would be confused if crocodiles showed up.
Had more alligators.
Yeah. For you, Brittany, like what was, in all honesty, what was the thing that you looked forward to the most when it came to filming, and the thing that you least look forward to?
I like touring the houses a lot with my clients and just making jokes with them. And like, especially, Sajal and Holly were two of my clients that I really loved. And, they're still friends today. We do a lot of business together. And his wife is very quiet, but she had a lot of jabs.
Yeah.
Like, she's a little savage. So
Yeah.
like hearing her come for me, and I was like, okay, let's go. Was super fun.
Well, you're
and
used to mom making little jabs at you, so you ready. You're
I'm
like,
ready for it.
Like, what?
Like,
Come on.
Hardened. You're
Come
just
on.
like,
What about you, Derek? What was like the thing that you looked forward to the most when it came to filming?
well, I think going back to what I said, the camaraderie on set, for sure. You know, I think a lot of what we did, obviously, on the show may have not been what a normal day looked like for us, you know, on a typical day to day. But I don't know. It was kind of fun acting, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like there was a fair amount of like we're all looking at our little laptops, like, you know. Honestly, I think based off of what they wanted the show to be, and what I think would have really allowed it to succeed was if it was an hour-long show instead of a half-hour-long show. I don't know, but as it is,
What do I know?
I think compressing it to a half hour, which really comes out to like 22 minutes, I think when you subtract commercials, there's really not a whole lot of time there to really
build characters.
Yeah, and to really give the show the legs that I think it probably could have had.
What was interesting was the first episode versus the rest of the episodes. It was really well edited and was really showed the dynamics of the clients, the dynamics of our relationships,
Right.
and things like that. So, and then the other ones looked very rushed. Like everything was cut very quickly. Okay, that sounds like there was not any build up. There was not any character development. There was not a lot of us hanging out. And so that was a little disappointing. But I mean, people like the show. I mean, I think they like seeing New Orleans too. And one of the reasons that I think I got the show was I started talking to the network or the producer. I said, New Orleans does not get a fair shot. Like, I feel like every time you turn on the news, it's about crime or about Mardi Gras. I was like, there's so much more to New Orleans than just beer, boobs, and beads.
Did you just make that up?
No, I've heard it somewhere else.
Because I was like, you know what? If you just made up that saying, good on you. It's
There
right
you go.
here. Said.
Actually, I don't know where I got that from, but it might have been me, and I'm a
I saw it on
genius.
a T-shirt down in the French Quarter. I think that makes sense. I think that all checks out. I'm like,
it
wait,
was on a
I think
T-shirt.
it was on
Probably a
T-shirt.
fortune cookie. If I had to-
So
New
Beer,
Orleans
boobs, and
is
what?
not only beer, boobs, and beads, but it has so much culture, the history, the architecture, the food. And so when I moved to Nashville for like 5 minutes, it was not the same, and I missed New Orleans, and I came back very shortly after. Not that I don't love Nashville, because I do, but it was, there's something in New Orleans that's in the culture of the people that is just unbelievable. The least favorite thing I hated about the show was filming in the middle of summer and being a plus size girl. That was like, because you'd see in some of the episodes, like my face is all red and splotchy. Like, I do not look good hot, okay? I am like a Polish sausage, okay? Like, it is not attractive.
Like a Polish sausage. What about you, Derek?
Well, as a plus size girl myself in the summertime, I can tell you it was rough. No. Worst part, goodness, I don't really know. I thoroughly enjoyed our time on set. I mean, there was obviously those times that we had to move heavy furniture that I was like,
Right.
I may have the appearance that I'm a man, but I'm telling you, I have the strength of a very weak elderly woman. So it was very, it was tough. It was tough moving some of that stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
And during the second season, when we found out that was like basically when we were going to film, I was very upset.
That was due to COVID, though. Remember, because we started filming in when was it? Like February?
Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah,
It was great.
it was nice.
I remember you complaining about it. You're like, wow, so we're just not going to film during this time.
Yeah. I remember our very last episode we were filming of that second season. We were at a property right by Tulane University, and then we didn't see each other for a very long time after that. You know how many times people will see me on the streets because of the TV show, and they think that I'm the brother, and they're like, "You're Brittany's brother, right?" And I'm like, "Oh no."
That is something that has always perplexed me.
Can we talk about how many messages you got from dudes, Joel? How many girls message you? But how many? Like, give me a percentage. Like, how many girls messaged you? A number. How many dudes messaged you?
I would say women 20%, men 80%.
That's a ratio.
Dude,
ratio.
whoa.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How many?
Don't you
Okay.
think she got Middle Eastern guys coming at her left and right.
I get like a lot of heart emojis and like cat eyes with the hearts. Like I don't know what. And like I don't know what it is about Middle Eastern men, but they love sending flower emojis. Like every flower emoji you can imagine, I would get tons of flower emojis. And honestly, there were some days I just needed it.
Yeah.
And so thank y'all.
My target demo was more of the 75, 80 plus demo ladies, which by the way plays in grocery stores, but not all of them have social media, so I was not getting any messages whatsoever. So
you probably just reminded them of the Hallmark movies. They're like, oh, I've seen.
It could have very well been. I think that's where I would have succeeded. HGTV to an extent, they just, it wasn't in the right place. You guys, hot. HGTV, hot. Me, I'm more of, Hallmark movies and mysteries. Further down the dial.
Like The Butler.
Yeah, maybe like an infomercial between Matlock and Murder, She Wrote. That's where
I could see Derek on like one of those love books, like.
It could happen.
Exactly. So no inappropriate messages from me. So
really,
yeah,
I could send you some later.
That's very sweet of you.
I just remembered was that lady who was on the school board in Michigan or Missouri that was like calling you like overweight.
Oh yeah,
remember that? On Facebook.
That was amazing.
Oh.
So what had happened was, okay, I'm going to go very ASMR right now, okay? So what happened was, this lady was insane. She started saying all kind of stuff about my weight, and I need to lose weight, and blah, 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 and I can't believe, just mean girl stuff. Yeah. And so what do? We start looking up and seeing who this lady is. And then I post her comment on my social media and who she is, and people started looking her up. Dude, she literally, one thing I do not stand is bullying. Like that, I will destroy you. I do not play with bullying. No. It does not happen around me.
Brittany and I were bullied a lot.
So that's why we're so,
we don't like it.
That's why we're so well-rounded.
Yeah.
And Jesus, help, healing. So we ended up getting this message, and I posted her comment, and then she started sending all these other comments and like started going, and then she started really coming for me. And then people found out she was running for a school board. She was in, like, they were doing the election. Like, she was like a prominent person in her community, and was sitting here bullying I was pregnant too, a pregnant mom. Like, how dare you, dude? People went for her the road.
By the way, we do have an Italian family, and so if you say one mean thing about us, like,
they're all coming for you.
Like, wasn't our cousin Chelsea the one that was like, she's pregnant?
She went off. But I was plus size before I was pregnant. I actually didn't gain any weight. I was the same size. But it's okay. But still not nice.
I do remember everyone was like, "Don't read the comments. Like, don't go to social media. Don't read the comments. Just don't do it." That's like TV celebrity 101. Like, don't go and do that. But I do remember it was on the pilot episode. We watched the screening, and I was just like, I wonder if anybody actually saw it. Which, the ratings were incredible for the pilot episode. They were. I think we rated some Major League Baseball games, and like it was like
top 10.
It was really an incredible showing for us. But I went onto the interwebs, and I was like, selling the big. I typed like that, selling the big easy, and then I was like, oh, never mind. I got right out because I was just like, they are savages out here, and that was a pilot episode. But as it was, most of America loved us except for that.
Well, what's funny is people are always, like, restaurants will have people have amazing experience, but then they have a bad experience and they'll leave a review.
Right.
Like, so it's like people are always more willing to spread hate versus love. Yeah. It's just a fact.
It's true.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, should we get paid for all of our streaming? Because now it's on like multiple streaming services. It's on HBO Max, it's on Tubi, it's on Peacock, it's on, it's all over, which is awesome. And honestly, I'm thankful for that. Thank you, HGTV. Love you. But like, I mean, the exposure is priceless to me. So, but I understand people wanting to get paid for that, but it wasn't negotiated up front. So I don't expect it. I got paid for, to perform in the episode. Now, had it, I known more like I know now, or if I was a bigger name, I'd probably want to get paid for streaming parts too. But at the same time, I got paid, so I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for the exposure, especially as a real estate agent.
I'm right there with you. I mean, yeah, we got paid for a service. We went and did it. And then, yeah, no. I mean,
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. I did think it was kind of funny, though, that, like, it would be repackaged at the end of the season, and then it would be passed around to different networks around the world. And, like,
which is kind of amazing,
yeah,
right?
So different parts of the world would see our show at different times, and I don't know, it'd be like,
yeah, we get random messages from people in like
Yeah.
other countries. Oh, I love your show. Thank you for doing it, which is to me huge. Honestly, I really loved doing the show, and so I'm thankful for all of our time in that. And I'll never, regret that. And so, but I know you did radio and everything before you got into real estate. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was a locker room reporter in Houston.
Locker room?
Yeah, a lot of naked dudes. It was a thing.
Literally.
Yeah.
And
so-
I get all the messages.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles there. Several years in locker rooms and on the sidelines of sporting events, and then I also did some political talk radio. It was a bit of a jack of all trades back in the day. And then I came here to the illustrious city of New Orleans, where my wife grew up with you, and that's how we met. And then I started selling real estate.
The first time I met Derek, I was like, you are adorable, and will you come work with me?
It's true.
That was literally pretty much our conversation.
Yeah, no, it was awkward at first because not a lot of people walk up and just say that to somebody else, but
But I do.
But you did.
I
so.
really like to take it to another level.
Yeah.
He's
A little
only-
sexual harassment.
Yeah, no.
He's
it's-
only used to 75-year-old.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Is that-
used to. Yeah, and these
yeah.
young
How old are you?
these young whippersnappers hitting on me. I'm like, wait a minute. So, but
What was the craziest thing that ever happened to you in radio?
Crazy thing that ever happened. I got some death threats over some silly things back in the day. Craziest thing. I did see David Beckham naked one time, and it was.
out.
Well, no, I didn't. No, I did. I passed. No, I didn't pass out. No, it was
David Beckham's little man.
It mostly just caught me off guard. It was one of those like.
Why is the first question is like, what did it look like?
Because everybody knows guys, we all stay at eye level everywhere we go, in the locker room and everything else. You eye level, or look up, just look at the ceiling. I know what a lot of locker room ceilings look like, because that's just what you look at. You just. But I was not prepared. I was like living life over here, and then I turned around and there we were. So
David Beckham's little Beckham.
yeah,
There it is.
Bend it like Beckham was the. Oh yeah.
Beckham's Beckham.
There you go. So, but yeah, it's about as crazy as it got. Just naked dudes. So, yeah.
That's
and
pretty
death
crazy.
threats. Death threats and naked dudes.
Yeah.
Really, maybe real estate was a good move for me. I think so.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Death threats from naked dudes.
right. That would be a great name for another podcast here.
Yeah.
Death threats and naked dudes. So.
I like this is on our next episode. What did you do before real estate, Joel?
So I had my own marketing company before this.
Really?
And then
I'm so surprised. You're like, that is your sister.
Really?
She was aware.
Don't sound
I
too
really know what you
surprised.
did. I just was like, oh, okay.
Really?
No, seriously, I really don't know. What happened?
Oh gosh. Yeah. So I had a marketing company beforehand, and then I just did not like it.
What did you do in it? Like give me an example of like a day.
Yeah. So example of a day is that we would work in like large superstores, and then we would have to market certain products. Like if the store wanted us to promote certain products, my employees and everything would have to like push those products.
Oh, you were the people that everybody hates.
Yes,
Ooh.
I did.
Oh, you like the nail
That was
people.
one of the other reasons why I was just like it weighed on me. But the other part was that the people who I hired and everything, you would give and give and give, and then they would never like reciprocate. And so I just kind of ran down. And then I remember I was talking to you. This was at Dad's house, and I was just telling you about how frustrated I was, and you were like, "You should come with me in real estate." And then I was like, maybe I should. And then
you did.
history.
Ah.
Yeah.
And the rest was
Yes.
history.
Yes.
I actually worked at a cell phone company, Sprint Wireless.
T-Mobile now.
T-Mobile now, yes. And I was I actually started off as a store manager, and I took the store from number 12 to number 1. And then the corporate came in and they were like, I call myself the Michael Scott of real estate, okay, or sales. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm really good at it. And so the corporate came in and asked what was I doing that was so different, because we, turned our store from 12 to number 1. And I really couldn't give him an answer. I was like, well, like, people come in and I'm like, what do you want? And then I help them, and that's what I do. And they're like, fantastic. We can't replicate that. Thank you.
Coach that?
Yeah. So, but I ended up realizing later as a business owner and really analyzing myself and sitting back is I led by example. I really always came in with a positive attitude, always loved people. I remember customers' names. I was the first one to leave, first one to come, last one to leave, so, and I would challenge all the salespeople because I would beat their numbers. And so they ended up having to perform more to make more money. And then as I made more money, they made more money. And then I ended up demoting myself and because I realized I made more money in sales.
Yeah.
So
like, you're fired.
to myself in the mirror.
In the mirror.
And I ended up just going to just be a sales rep. And then I ended up hurting my back, and I couldn't walk for a couple of months, and I had to start going to therapy, not mental, physical. And Derek's like, makes sense. So I ended up going to therapy, and I got a call out of the blue from this lady who sold real estate but also sold skincare. And she was like, oh, I think you should do the skincare. I know you're really into that. And I said, actually, I think I should do real estate. And so I started doing real estate, and it was like a fish in water.
Yeah. Yeah, so do y'all want to watch the first episode?
Sure.
Kind of relive it?
Let's do it.
My name is Brittany Picolo-Ramos.
I really like her.
Mama?
Full service agency that specializes in really big, really fancy, high-end New Orleans homes. Welcome to my boudoir. My team and I help buyers find their dream home.
Can I just say something real quick? Now I realize why a lot of people thought we just dealt with high-end properties, because we literally just said that.
That did happen. Like when the show was airing, we would see our friends buy houses, and we're like, why didn't you call us? They're like, oh, I thought you only sold high-end properties. So like we had to totally rebrand and be like, we like everybody.
We'd get phone calls from people that like after the fact saying that they bought a house and all, and I was like, well, why didn't you use us? And the same general idea. They didn't think that we talked to poor people anymore. So which we really didn't, but but we didn't tell anybody that.
That's not true.
I mean, that's just.
I am a hoe for houses. I will sell a house to like 100,000 or like
200,000
a 200,000 I do not care.
And there's nowhere else like it. Seriously, you're welcome.
Pause it. One of my favorite moments was there's a picture of a guy in like a purple suit. So that while they were filming the intro part, I had to like walk and just like look at the camera like, I'm confident, I'm good, And like as I'm walking, doing the walk, and he goes, oh girl, I like what you walk. Like he just started like coming at me and like saying like really like hitting on me, and I was like, I thought that was so funny, and then caught it on film, and it was amazing. I was like,
The you're welcome stuff though. You started this trend where I remember walking through Macy's or Dillard's in the mall, and there was this woman who, like, as I was just walking, she was behind me, and she was just going, you're welcome, and I was like thinking, and I turned around, and she finally was like, you're the guy, right? You're welcome. And I'm like, oh my God.
and
Like,
it's so weird
you're
because
singing the thing.
Yeah.
Singing the thing.
it was like a season that I was saying that all the time. I was like, you're welcome. Like I would just do it, and I stopped doing it because of the show. I was like, that's weird. Because I was sick of seeing myself do it. And another thing too, people saw me as like the hat lady. Oh, you're the lady who loves hats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what was funny is I have very fine hair, like baby fine. And then I wear extensions, okay? Just, I'm letting you know, that's not my hair. I would like to thank the Russian lady who donated her hair. No, I'm joking, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It might be Lithuanian. I don't know. So...
Great hair in Lithuania.
Got it from Sally's, okay? So I had the hair extensions. And when I was filming the first pilot or the sizzle reel or whatever, I could see my hair extension in the back, and I started getting insecure about it. So I didn't want to think about it while I was filming, so I started wearing a hat so I didn't have to worry about the back of my hair. And then I became known as a hat lady, which I was like, sure. And now I never wear hats because I just was sick of people being like, you're a hat lady. And I'm like, I don't want to be a hat lady.
I was wondering, the amount of hats you've been wearing has greatly decreased.
They're not.
I'm charting it.
There's 0 hats. And I also have a little head and I'm a big body. So I felt like the hat like balanced the proportions. Pause it. Okay. So I ended up selling my house and moving in the middle of them filming. So we had to use another house as the inside. So that's not what my house looked like. But if you look at one of the previews or one of the commercials, who was like, it was actually a really funny clip, and where it talks about me like literally using my old picture from when I first started real estate, and I was like 100 pounds lighter. And I was like, you know, it's deceptive pretty much that my old picture, that was my actual house. Just FYI.
Well, you do see your actual house later on in the episode.
You do?
Yeah, I remember us like being around the island at least.
Guys, it's spoilers. I'm trying to watch it over here.
You're right. I'm sorry, Derek.
Sorry.
By the way, do you know how many people told me about how much you hated on me, like during the show? People were like, "Why is she hating on you so much?"
Because she's my sister, and that's her job.
I remember asking you about it. I was like, Brittany, why do you keep doing this? She's like, oh, well, like, I want to do this whole thing of, like, combativeness between us. I was like, that's a terrible idea. That's why you actually see later on in the season, as we watch the episodes, that she tones down a lot on it.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's funny. She said that screams luxury. And then I remember making a joke and going, luxury! And just all of us, like, cracked up laughing, and they had to literally stop filming and like wait for us to finish laughing. Like stuff like that would happen all the time.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to see now why the editing floor probably was like, we're taking out all the funny stuff, because that poor guy who had to sit there that would just scroll just like 20 minutes of just us laughing, just like, okay, when does this start back up again?
They literally said that too. They were like, y'all have to be serious. We have to remember that you're a serious real estate company.
Yeah, that's a thing. You guys could have told me I had to button up that top button.
I liked it.
Look at that. This is why the 75 plus demo was all about it. They were just like, look at that.
You get
like
that
ramen noodles.
Nice little sternum bush going on there. That's
So what was funny about that was I was, at the time, a lot of people did it. That's called the fourth wall. So the camera is like another, it's supposed to be a wall.
Yeah.
But I love The Office. I just do. It's one of my favorite shows. So I couldn't help but always like look at the camera and do things like that. It was so natural for me to do that they captured that a lot and obviously left it in. So that's, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. No, I really like the fact that you did that though. When you're like, I like bread, and then you like look at the camera.
Like a little kid. I love that Joel's loving it.
he's never seen this before. It's all first time.
Like Joel literally is like, this is hilarious.
You don't work with buyers, so like seeing you work with buyers and seeing your interaction, I would be like, oh wow. Like there's water coming out of the ceiling.
Apparently they never used this wing of the house. So we put on the AC because it was 100 degrees outside, and it started raining in the house. Like it literally. And so that's when we found out, surprise, the AC doesn't work and it overfills the drain pan, and that's going to be a big financial cost.
Yeah.
But the show had to still go on, and so we just had to make light of it and just roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, Derek, you've worked with buyers before. Like, when you see something like that, you're honestly just thinking to yourself, like, this house is not going to work. Like, they are going to shoot it down.
Yeah, no, that's pretty, it'd be a bit traumatic for most. But the fact they still went through and still got the place. The fact that the house, you just described it as this wing of the house. You know what? We're dealing with some different kinds of homes when you get to use the word wing. Like, if I said that at my house, people would stare at me like...
Your house is like 2,000 square feet. He's like, look to the left wing.
The left side of the shoebox.
Can we just like say about like you say this cool like funny thing and Sandra's like, all right, doesn't laugh, just like moves on. And
Well, Sasha's used to me saying some crazy stuff now. So,
But you know what I also discovered along the way while filming the show is that there would be a lot of really great lines that would be organically done.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden a noise would happen or something would occur and you'd have to go back and reshoot that scene. And then like that organic,
magic.
organic feel that it had initially, when you tried to do it again, you can't recreate it.
Yeah.
You can't recreate it. And so the reactions from Sajal probably laughed a lot after the first time she said it. But if that was a retake, it's like, I've heard this. Now it's like a fake laugh.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
what's funny is like I said, this is how babies are made, and literally she got pregnant like the next month.
Yeah.
So I was telling the truth.
Yeah. She speaks it into existence.
I speak the truth.
Oh, the pool house. Yeah. Looks like a giant toilet. Does it not? The aerial shot?
It does.
It looks like a straight up toilet. Yeah. We all saw it when it happened too.
It does look like
No,
we
I
were
could never
we
unsee
actually
it.
we saw this episode. We did this the showing of this at this house, and I had to keep that thought to myself as we were in Sajal's house because I didn't want to. They already bought it. I should have said it out loud at the time. You know, it's like
yeah, at the showing in front of hundreds of people. You should definitely have said that.
Yeah.
Definitely should have said it, but
I would have.
yeah.
No.
Now that you see it, you can't unsee it. And
Well,
for
It
that,
does look like a
I did my
toilet.
job. So.
You all remember that listing that had the pentagram at the bottom?
Yes.
And the listing agent like took an above shot of it, so like you could literally see the pentagram right there.
She's like, I don't know why this house is not selling. We're like, maybe the pentagram at the bottom of the pool.
I'm not
Just
an
a
expert.
thought. It's like now you have to find a Satanist $1 million client. We're looking for $1 million clients that also worship Satan.
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 Satan's a little worse than Satan, though. You know, I don't want to deal with the Satan worshippers.
It's the Southern Satan.
Right?
They almost call the show Selling Fancy.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah. That's your first thought.
Loves it.
Being me, you know, I want to.
Oh my gosh. Just seeing you try to put it back on.
I don't think Joel's actually ever seen this show before. This is the first time he's ever watched Selling the Big Easy.
Just rewatching it is the best.
This guy loved it. I feel like you would have been a fan of the show even if we weren't on it.
Oh, I'm totally a fan of the show.
A little behind the scenes on this. Two things. One, I don't know if you remember the day that we filmed at this house, or maybe it was when we were initially trying to figure out where we were going to film, which was on a whole other set of issues. But it poured down rain at this house to the point that the streets went underwater, and we had all these people from out of town that were part of the film crew. That it was like just watching their eyes look at all of our streets filling up with water. Normal summer days here, you could have a thunderstorm that'll happen and everything goes underwater.
Oh, yeah.
And here you're just kind of we'll just park a little higher. But for an out of state person that's you're watching all of the cars go underwater, they're freaking out.
Yeah.
But no, the behind the scenes stuff, people don't realize this pilot episode trying to find homes that would let us film at them was pulling teeth because nobody's ever heard of Selling the Big Easy. This is a pilot episode. You don't really, we didn't know if this was going to be aired or not. So it was
difficult.
It was very difficult.
Yeah.
Something about also the film industry from before us, trashing a bunch of homes. I think a lot of old historic homes had a bad taste in their mouth with the film industry. And so they were I don't really want you to film at our house.
Not every client of mine is going to be comfortable with filming. So, and then not every house is comfortable with walking through it with a camera crew.
Mm-hmm.
So that part of it is very difficult and something you don't think about.
Yeah.
But remember when this happened? So they didn't air it on the actual episode, but they used it as a commercial with the whole doll situation.
Mm-hmm.
So literally this house, and I love the owners. They're amazing, precious, amazing people. But this room was legit. It was all dolls. And I remember making that joke and being like, oh, there's a doll that looks like me. And they were like, oh, there's one Lauren. And then you were like, oh, if I see a doll that looks like me, I'm out of here. Y'all.
It was arguably one of the funniest scenes we ever had on the show. And it happened in the pilot episode.
Yeah, which was insane. I'm like, how did they not put that in the actual episode?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
They actually put it on the HGT website on our landing page as season like 1.1, and it was called Derek's Nightmares. And that's what it was actually called.
We need to pull that up.
Yeah, it's out there somewhere. We could definitely find
Derek's
it.
Nightmares.
Derek's Nightmares.
I was crying because the doll looks so much like you.
It was terrifying.
It was, and it's from like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Like this doll
Yeah.
with red hair, with the nose, with the eye. I mean, everything. It looked identical to you. For that to happen,
Yeah.
gold.
I think if they would have
Gold.
aired that, we'd be biggest show that's ever happened to
Yeah.
HGTV. They just would have aired the doll scene, but no, they didn't. They were like,
Right.
we can't.
They were like, it's too
soon.
good. It's
It's
too
too
funny.
soon.
Have fun, Derek. Ryan, whistle while you work.
I like how you mopped yourself into a corner.
Yeah, no, that may have been the first time I'd ever mopped in my life. And they were like, you know how to work them up? I'm like, no.
I really like that.
Joel's like really feeling this house.
I'm feeling it. I agree.
Put an offer.
Yeah.
The artwork was
Yeah.
like the lady, if you zoom in, the
Oh,
lady's
yeah.
like bent over naked, like in a sexual position. Like
Yeah, they could
multiple-
leave over the they left the naked lady in there, but they couldn't put the doll in there. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
we should
they're
have just
like-
had the doll in a provocative position. They would have
Yeah.
left the doll in.
So they were like,
just-
we need a little space. There was a ton of people who were like, the North Shore's not New Orleans, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like I wanted Selling the Big Easy to show that it wasn't just specifically
Yeah.
the city, that there were so many areas that people needed to know about.
Yeah.
Right.
And most people think that when they think of Louisiana, they think of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know why people made a big thing.
Well, I also think that like the city of New Orleans has kind of this like swagger about it that they do think they're really, really, really cool, in which they are. I mean, it is a really cool city. I've learned that over my time here. But a lot of people who owned homes here that we really wanted to film at would not. They didn't think it was cool. You know what I mean? It's an HGTV show. They were like, so the North Shore though, they loved us. They loved
know.
us on the North Shore. They loved us in Metairie. They loved us all around. New Orleans though, they're like, nah,
They're like,
we're
who
cool.
cares if you're a celebrity? I'm a celebrity too.
It's cool. I mean, celebrities actually love coming to New Orleans, like real quote unquote real celebrities. Like I've literally encountered like Will Smith like downtown. He's just walking around. Nobody was like
Nobody cares.
Nobody ran up to him and like said anything. But a lot of the homes that we really wanted to film at though, they would be like, nah, I'm good.
Thank you so much for watching The Real-Tea. We had such a great time. What do you think, Derek?
I had a swell time. Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed my time here.
I think you're going to always
Yeah,
be here.
he's going to be on the next episode.
And
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
Unless you have to work.
Yeah. Do you have
Get
to
out
work?
there. And what do you think, Joel?
I'm really excited. I mean, being able to just, first of all, it's been so long since I've watched this episode, and I was just laughing, and I'm glad I brought you entertainment watching the episode.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
So make sure to watch future episodes, like, subscribe, share, because we want to be around for a long time and bring y'all the real tea of life. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.